But should you have a need to attend in person, we will make a remote location available upon a reservation request by you to the planning department no later than 2 business days before the meeting. In accordance with the emergency order, this is to confirm that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone. Members of the public wishing to attend this meeting electronically may call the conference call number from home, follow the instructions listed under news and announcements on the town's website, www.alton.nh.gov. We're also providing additional public access by video or other electronic means. We are utilizing the Zoom platform for this electronic meeting. All members of the board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate in this meeting through the link that is listed under news and announcements on the town's website. We're also providing public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to abutters and the public of how to access the meeting via telephone conference and by using Zoom. We are providing a mechanism for the public to alert the Zoom moderator during the meeting that a member of the public wishes to speak or be recognized during the public input at public hearing. If you are calling in by conference call, you can press the star sign and then the number 9 to raise your hand to request to speak to the board. If you're using a computer, use the raise hand button to request to speak to the board. Several members of the public may be conferenced in, and requests to speak will be handled sequentially one at a time. We are providing a mechanism for the public to alert the Zoom moderator during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anybody has a problem accessing the meeting, please call 603-507-1002. Adjourning the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public on a whole is unable to access the meeting remotely or there are difficulties with the town's equipment, the meeting will be rescheduled to Tuesday, May 18th at 6 p.m. at the Alton Town Hall. So you may call the planning department at 603-875-2162 between 8 a.m. and 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday for more information for the dial-in code and meeting ID for each planning board member. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. We're going to start the meeting by taking roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, please state whether there is anyone in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the right to know law. So, with that being said, and we'll start with you and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you all for voting me in.
So just announce your name and that you're present. And
Lee Hillsgrove, present.
Roger Sample, present.
Scott Williams, present.
Bill O'Neill, present.
Drew Carter, present. And on screen?
Yeah, Russ Wilder.
Present and alone.
Russ Wilder, present and alone. Tom?
Yes, I'm present and alone.
And Bob?
Bob Regan, present and alone.
All right. Excellent. And we also have Tom, and I forgot your last name. Dibney. Tom Dibney, which is in training, we'll put it. Yeah. Yep. So, all right. Yeah.
No, he'll think you're in the audience.
All right. So we're going to call this meeting to order at, looks like 6:06 by that clock, which you never trust. So we do not need to appoint an alternate, do we?
No, we do not.
No, we've got plenty of people.
Yep.
So let's, any changes to the agenda?
There are some changes to the agenda, and there are actually just some corrections in the headings. So case E2106, it was also supposed to include Bay Hill Road. And it's not in the rural zone, it's actually in the Lakeshore residential zone. So just clarify that. Case P2107, it includes 2 lots. Lot 4 is actually in the residential zone, and lot 5-1 is residential commercial.
That's interesting.
Just to let you know now, yeah, that the conceptual consultation for case P2108 has been withdrawn. They have some pending permits, maybe some issues with the state, so they're going to get back to me on that. And, that's it.
Chairman, I'll move to accept the agenda as amended.
Okay, that's from Scott. Do we have a second?
I'll second it.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Roger or Russ?
Roger spoke first.
Okay.
We'll let Roger have the second. All right, all those in favor, going around? Lee?
Aye.
Roger?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Bill? Drew, aye.
Russ Wilder, aye.
Tom?
Tom, aye.
Bob,
And
aye.
Bob? All right,
Bye-bye.
very good. All right, so,
Excuse me, Drew, can I just clarify, a point of order? So technically, Lee and Bill don't vote,
oh,
because they're alternates at the
Oh, that's-
moment. So unless they got appointed by the chair to
No.
sit in, so I just wanted to just clarify that.
Can, interact with the progression of it, he just can't vote, correct?
Absolutely, he can be in,
Yeah.
they can
all
both
right,
be
so
in the
I apologize,
discussion,
for
if they just,
clarification. For some reason,
so-
I thought Lee, yeah, never mind.
so
Okay.
just to clarify that.
Sure.
Okay.
All right, so, let's start off with, case 2106. So, boundary line adjustment involving the lands of George Freese and a whole bunch of other folks here. So, adjusting the boundary lot line of 4 lots so that the 3 smallest lots increase in size and get their improvements wholly on their lots, and the largest lot, map 1131, remains in excess of the minimum lot size.
Just try to get some people on the, screen here. There's all the applicants are here, but I believe it's Kevin House.
Yes, I'm here, Kevin Ash, in the room alone.
Oh, we hear you, but we don't see you.
Okay, hold on. Start my video.
Working on it.
There you
Oh,
are.
there we go.
All
Hi, Kevin.
right,
All right. Should I go ahead and present this, or?
Well, we have to grant the waivers first, don't we?
We gotta go.
yeah,
And then accept it whether complete or not.
yep,
I'd be willing to say that, since this has already been to the ZBA and nothing is changing except for slight improvements in all the lots, I'm willing to grant all the waivers.
Yeah, the waivers,
Speed is on.
I think the waivers are reasonable to be granted.
Yeah, nothing's gonna change.
yep.
Was that a second, Russ?
So that, I'm gonna assume that Tom was a motion and Russ was a second, or am I jumping to conclusions?
Well, I was willing to I wanted to let other people talk, but,
They can talk after the motion is seconded.
Yep,
no.
I'll second.
all right, any discussion? So,
Yeah.
does anybody else want to?
I was just trying to explain to the new people why we're willing to grant the waivers in this particular case, since nothing is gonna change from this. There's nothing proposed to be built or anything else. Everything's already completed.
Yeah,
Yeah, she did a good job of showing out the lot line change anyway, so pretty self-explanatory.
yeah. All right, so regarding the waivers, so we have a motion, we have a second. You want to vote on that? Roger?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Bill?
Nope,
Oh,
It's okay.
that's next.
can't keep up with these. Drew is an aye.
Tom is an aye.
Aye.
Bob is aye.
All right, waivers are granted. So, all right, so with that,
I'm still gonna ask.
Yep.
I
Did you
can
have a comment?
make a motion to accept the application as complete.
I actually have something to address, but I want to hear from Roger first.
Just so I can figure this out while you, who's doing this adjustment? Is this Freeze? Is this, I can't tell.
There's 2, 3, 4 parties that are involved.
Freeze Trust, available.
Okay, so this back one, that goes all the way to Bay Hill, that's why Bay Hill was mentioned?
Yeah, because if you look way on the right side, that Capitola property is giant, way on the right side of that plan. Right, they got way on that side. That's why so many people,
Oh, okay, yeah,
there's
that's,
78 abutters.
Oh, wow, really? Glad I haven't noticed those.
So that's why Bay Hill is, yeah, that's why that's referenced, because it's a gigantic lot.
okay, all right.
Okay, so on that, so I only had one, issue with the plan. So usually on a plan, you'll have listed out all of the abutters with their names, their addresses, tax map, lot, and everything. And it doesn't have that information. It does indicate way over here on the right, all of the maps and lots, but it doesn't indicate, you know, who owns it. So ordinarily, that's on a plan, but clearly you can't stick 78 addresses. So, so my thought was, could there be a note added to the plan that references the abutter list that's on file in the planning department, or a sheet to number 2, just listing all abutters?
Also could approve of prejudice, which would limit it to this, correct?
I would think so.
Yeah. I mean,
And-
so that's just stating that we're not gonna do it across the board every time someone comes in,
Right, right.
if that's what we decide to do.
But 78 is a lot.
It is. So I'm just throwing that out there as a possibility. There could be a note referenced stating that the abutters list is on file in the planning department, or a sheet 2, or however you want to manage it. So that's my issue with the plan. Other than that, everything looks fine.
So that could be part of the,
Did we vote on accepting?
Not yet.
Not yet.
have all the abutters been notified?
Yes. All 78 of them.
Can I ask some more questions, just to kind of, so,
But we're still on completeness, right? So.
Yeah.
well, this doesn't have anything to do whether it's complete, it's just getting my brain around what's going on here. So Freeze is getting a bigger lot? Is that what I see?
Yes.
Okay, so this big lot here is Freeze's abutter.
That's who he's getting the land
That's where I'm
from.
getting it from. So
Yeah.
why do all these other people have to,
Because
Because-
they're abutted to the property.
Right, because he's also, he's an applicant.
yeah, I suppose,
You just remember
Yeah.
last time we did AJ Bauman, and he has got a few, and he had a long list on his as well, because there's 1,100.
Yep,
yeah.
Get
yeah.
around.
That lot is included in the lot line adjustment, so it had to be literally everybody.
Is he, now the house next door, it looks like I see boundary lines going right through the house.
Yes. Can you guys do completeness
So the
first?
completeness
Yeah,
first, yeah, so,
So I
Yeah.
made a
got
motion
the
to accept the application as complete.
yeah. Do we have a second?
I'll second, Scott will second that.
And as part of that completeness, that we also, I think, have to address the abutters.
The issue with the abutters,
The
yeah.
issue with the abutters. Would anybody like to amend?
The list of abutters can
Um,
be found at the town offices and on the back page.
I think that that's a reasonable,
Yeah, wherever this plat is stored, we should probably affix the abutters to it or something like that. Is that what you're thinking?
Yes.
You could do that,
I
yep.
mean, I don't know what makes the best sense, but, it shouldn't be far.
No, it's right, it'll be in the file. And if there's a note on the plan that refers to that,
Okay, as long as there's a note on the,
then that will tie that together.
you want that in a motion, Drew?
yeah, I think that should be in that motion for completeness.
Yeah,
I will move,
I'll amend my motion to include what Scott just said.
Second it.
Perfect.
I'll second that, right.
All right. So any further discussion on completeness? Hearing none. Roger?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Oh, no, you don't. Drew, aye. Tom?
Aye.
Russ?
Aye.
Bob, aye.
Bob? All right. All right.
Complete.
Thank you.
I'm glad we got nothing but easy ones tonight. Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's hear your story.
Okay, I'm Kevin Ash, White Mountain Survey and Engineering. Basically, the application involves 4 lots, 3 separate adjustments, lot line adjustments. The first one is between the lot 3522, which is the Freeze lot, and the lot to the north, 22A, which is the Matheson and Binswanger lot. Basically, the Freeze lot will give 198 square feet to the Binswanger lot so that the shed is totally on the lot. And then the next adjustment is between the Freeze lot and the Gerbil lot. And it's once again a small adjustment, 225 square feet, so that the paved driveway will be totally on the Gerbil land. And then the third adjustment is the biggest one, the 0.73 acres from the 60-acre Capitola Incorporated lot to be added to the Freeze lot. That will make the Freeze lot bigger than the minimum lot size in the zone. It will be 50,909 square feet, so it's much bigger than the minimum lot size. And as I'm sure you guys have discussed or are aware of with all the discussion about the waivers, it's basically the intent is to get the improvements on the lots that they're used by, and without making the situation any worse. We feel like we're improving the lots, how should I put this? We're improving their situation with regard to the zoning requirements. The only exception would be that with this adjustment, the setback to the garage is getting a little smaller, but on the other hand, the shed will be totally on the Binswanger Matheson lot.
They're more conforming than they were.
Exactly. They'll all be more conforming
Right.
than they were. And yes, I mean, we'd certainly be willing to put a note on the plan to that effect. If that could be a condition of the approval, that would be great. And I think you've discussed all the waivers, so I guess that's basically it. I think it's pretty straightforward. But if there are any questions.
There was a comment, from the water department with the zoning board application that you do not cover the summer water line.
That line's right on the surface.
We do not
Yep.
cover the summer water line. I don't know where that is exactly.
And that was on lot 22.
Yeah, it's buried, it's only buried by scratch off the top of leaves and you'll probably see the line. Or when it leaks next.
I'm not aware of its location. We don't have that located on the plan, I guess. Is that what you're?
You should probably put that on the plan as a result, because that's a utility and that should be listed.
All right, the summer water line location shown.
Only if they're gonna want
Yep.
water for the summer. Yeah.
And that's on lot 22. Okay,
Yeah, it's on the
Yes.
easterly side of Route 28A, all the way up through.
all right. So we don't have that.
And it goes up almost to Sanctuary Lane, or whatever they call it now.
All right, we should-
Dan Kelly.
Dan Kelly Drive.
Dan Kelly and then the sanctuary.
Yeah.
we could certainly locate that and get that on the plan.
Did Freeze build a shed on somebody else's land?
Don't know. It shows it's there. I don't know if it was there forever or not.
Well,
Oh, that,
this-
that shed is on the Matheson Biswanger lot.
But it's Freeze's shed though, isn't it? I mean, that wall that
It appears that,
goes right around, it, that's,
who's gonna have custody of the shed?
It will,
Uh,
the Binswanger Matheson shed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So you
so
also,
it always was their shed?
I don't know the whole history of it, but it is, they use it, and that's the whole point of that adjustment, is to make sure that it's totally on their property.
It's really funny because all the walkways that you show on there lead from the Freeze property.
Exactly. Well, I mean, if you drove by there, you could tell just by looking at it, because all the sheds that Freeze have are the same. They're all cedar with matching doors.
Yeah.
But I mean, this stone wall that goes behind Freeze wraps around that shed, so obviously they built it. The walkways go, I don't know.
I don't think it's
you
material.
also,
I mean, part of that lot line goes through Freeze's, halfway through Freeze's driveway.
Yes, it does. That's the way it has been. We're not suggesting any change there.
Everything down the bay is pretty tight.
Yeah,
So basically, what you, down in that area there, you just did what you want on your neighbor's land, as long as it was close to you, or?
yeah, well, they all work together, you know, they're all buddies and,
I mean, this guy, I mean, he built his driveway on this guy's land, built a shed on this guy's land.
but it appears, you know, it's, you know, whatever the lot line adjustments are, everybody appears to be, you know, in agreement with them, so.
Well, so that's a lot line adjustment. Where's the old lot line? Is that on here somewhere?
Yeah, it's a sliver. They did all they did was make
Yeah.
a sliver of an adjustment.
It's a-
That orange line?
Yeah, it's that,
Yeah.
like, it's a thin
Little
dash line.
pie-shaped line?
yeah. It's the light line that runs right through the shed on this one.
190 feet, so it's not much.
There.
The other one's only 225, so it's not a whole lot.
Well, that-
Two white lines up through there. You got your primary and then you got your secondary out on that. 'Cause I just cleared the lot out of Sanctuary Drive.
The note shows the existing boundary line to be abandoned as it runs right through the shed on this one, or down here. It's the one that's in the driveway at the bottom of the green highlighted section.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's only 4.5 feet to nothing
Yeah.
in 90 feet or whatever, so.
It's not a lot of room.
Kind of quirky, actually, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I just,
Okay.
I don't know what this is. There a different setback on,
Well, this
over
will probably be non-conforming and stay non-conforming. The shed, anyway.
Yeah, that was,
Yeah,
that
they,
was some of the ZBA stuff that they
they
had to go
received a
through.
variance for the setback on that and the garage.
But they received the
ZBA.
variance because they were making it more less non-conforming.
Right.
so. I don't see any on 22A, I don't see any houses there.
No,
So it's no houses on that lot?
as far as I am aware of, no.
No,
I think they
So
were,
basically,
No?
no,
There are not?
no.
So what,
basically what happened was is Freeze built a shed on somebody else's land.
And went, oops.
Oops, and so he's keeping the shed, but he's clarifying that it is on your land.
he apparently also has his septic vents on that land too, which means,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I just assumed they were from a structure on 22A. Lot 22A.
I would say they're Freezes,
Yeah, I'm
or
not aware
22s.
if they have an easement for that, or don't have the answer to that.
yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
Find out if there's a reason for that. If we're gonna clean up stuff, let's clean it up.
Yeah.
Kevin, you want to make sure that there's an easement in place, and I'll look as well?
Sure.
That's a good eye.
I'm a little confused of, in area B, you have that 225 square foot adjustment there, but the property line, why is that property line that goes through the house? I mean, why is that there?
The freeze,
I think that must be the old one.
the Goebbels own
That's the
both
old-
this little lot
That's the old
and the bigger lot next to it. They own both lots. They just haven't merged them. And I'm not sure if they're going to merge them, but that's the way it has been.
Okay, so the 3515 lot is freezes as well?
Yes, 3518. 3518 and 3519 is the narrow one with the driveway.
Oh, so that's a separate lot?
Yeah, that, over that rectangle, for
Okay,
some
that's
reason,
why I'm having a hard time with
is an odd separate lot. But it's owned by 3518
This must
Nobles,
be
that's their
Gene Jones'
house.
subdivision. Because he left little strips like that all over his subdivisions,
Yep.
Brad Jones's father.
They should just merge them together and just get rid of that one.
Just in case,
I'd agree.
Yeah. He left them all over the place.
So that, this particular adjustment is so that Goebel owns their driveway, is that correct?
Yeah, so the driveway's strictly on that strip of land.
I just, this, I guess it kind of amuses me that all these lines that go through other people's, and right through the house.
well, I would say that, by building a house on the line, you have merged them.
For all intents and purposes, I think that they probably should go through the voluntary merger process and probably be to their benefit at this point, but that's not part of
I
the
agree.
application.
Yeah, that's
I
not,
mean,
that's
they're
not the
using
case
them in
in
common, therefore they have been merged.
I wonder what their tax bill looks like.
Yeah, I don't think we can head down that road in legal interpretation.
No, I wasn't suggesting that.
So we do need to, I think, do a little research on the easement for the septic.
Okay,
Maybe find out where, because you've got septic system approximate directly in front of the garage.
I'm sure that's a new septic system, so there should be a current design there that you can overlay on this plan to put it in here.
Yeah,
yes, we can do that.
Do you guys want to consider the idea of a conditional approval?
That would be great, I think, because we at least have to have the note on the plan about the abutters, and another condition could be clarifying that easement for us, for those septic vents anyway.
Drew, how do you feel?
Yeah, I don't have an issue with the conditional approval.
yeah, I think that's, yeah, I would go for it too.
I would just think when we say it, we either have to have an easement for the septic pipes or pull back onto the property line. Whatever you so desire.
Yeah.
And I will try to,
One thing that I'm just gonna throw a little monkey wrench in here, we haven't seen the septic plan. And if it's over that line, which we don't know if it is or isn't,
Well,
what do we wanna do there?
here's the other thing, you see up over here,
What's up
on
over here?
area A, 2 4-inch septic fence.
Yeah, I see.
Right.
Well, now go behind the garage in area C
Yeah,
and 2 4-inch septic fence.
yeah.
Well, this is a vacant lot, so you know it's not, so what,
Where,
has this got 4 vents?
shouldn't,
Yeah, I'm not sure
So,
what they're.
so we probably should see the septic system,
yeah.
just so we can,
I don't.
Oh, I see what you're
think we can do it
saying.
Till we see the septic system, to be honest with you. I'd like to, but I just.
Oh,
wanna make sure
okay,
the
now I
septic
see
system
what you're
Yeah.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Because those two septic vents currently sit on the Capitola property.
Correct.
One
They're not on the
in the
fringe
garage.
property, no matter how you wanna dice it.
No,
that may be why he acquired the Capitola property.
Well,
Well,
I'm not sure. I couldn't answer that question, honestly.
that's not really important.
So,
All right.
I think we need to continue it.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm with you on that, Scott.
Somebody's voice is breaking up.
We're discussing about continuing because of the questions on the septic.
I understand.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think we'll find that the actual system is a chamber system in the driveway.
Yeah, but does it overreach? We just don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if those vents are in fact from it, that is part of the septic system, so they would still need an easement.
Well, he built a shed over there. I'm sure he didn't want the fence on his land. I might as well put these over here too.
Yeah, and because your septics have to be 10 feet setback as well, so.
And that's an old lot, so that falls under the 10-foot sideline setback.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion.
I'm looking at next month's date.
Make a motion to continue this case until our next meeting.
Isn't 35?
it's May 18th.
18.
22A owned?
I would second that.
If you look at this,
22A.
So,
No.
Ross, that was you, that motion?
22A isn't owned by.
Yeah, I
the-
made the motion to,
Isn't, he doesn't own
continue
22A.
this case
Okay.
until our next
this
meeting.
says,
And Bob second.
And
And
Bob,
Bob seconded. Okay, so further discussion, so Lee, you, something?
I was just looking at it, it says map, lots, 35 lots, lot 35, whatever.
3522A?
It says on here, he owns 22A. He's got 19, 22, 22A, map 11. So right on the maps and lots.
But even if he owns it, it's a separate lot, it still needs to be addressed as it were.
That's not what I agree with you on that, but what I'm saying is,
He owns it.
He owns
He can
it.
give himself an easement.
right,
Yeah.
but,
Capitola owns it,
Currently, Capitola owns that property.
22A.
well, the one that's outlined in purple,
according to this, he owns it.
wire.
No, 22A is owned by Matheson and Biswanger,
And that's a lot of record.
correct?
Okay.
Yeah, it's a little confusing,
Yeah, because
because
on
you
here,
see
it says-
22A in a number of places. Yeah,
Well, yeah,
I see it at Capitola.
No, it's here.
Yeah, no, it's Capitola down below too.
Capitola is 1131. 1131.
yeah, but it's also 22, 22A, 19.
21.
Yeah, so
The whole outfit
Where are
owns
you-
all of those,
Where are you?
where are
seeing-
you looking?
right on the very first page.
Oh, on the planner review, that just lists all of the lots that are involved in it, so that's not specifically,
So if you look,
that's all of the lots.
Lee, if you look at the map down here, they've kind of done a little box of,
Yeah, I see that, but, it's kind of confusing when it's showing.
yeah, that's just all the lots that are being affected by the change.
And applicants.
Right, and that lists all of the owners and applicants, and then it lists all of the lots on that planner review.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second on the table. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roger?
Aye.
Scott, aye.
Drew, aye. Tom? We lost
Someone-
Tom.
Thomas left us.
Yeah, Russ, I,
Bye-bye.
All right. Do we just,
Is he coming back on? He was a little scratchy at the
Yeah.
very end.
Yeah.
gotta keep that,
Way at the end of Drew Hill Road where they don't have, they just barely have electricity.
gotta keep that squirrel fed.
They don't cover.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you know.
I saw that.
Okay.
There you go.
You back? All right, Kevin, you all set?
I'm all set. We'll come back with an answer to the septic system question and then the summer water line location and a note on the plan saying the abutters are on file at the town hall.
Right, right.
Perfect, all right.
All right, thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so next,
Yeah, I don't know if anybody knows of people, young people, haven't been around here. The Freeze property, they used to own Globe Firefighter Suits in Pittsfield. That's little trivia.
all right,
I do all their logging.
Do you? So you know.
Yeah.
probably wore one of their fire suits, so, there you
Most
go.
likely.
Next case, P 2107, voluntary lot merger, pre-existing lots. So who do we have?
So this
I'll
would
have
be,
the previous plan on my screen.
David Stilson of River Lake Property.
Okay, so do we have David Stilson? Lori McGrath? Okay,
Okay, so I'm just gonna throw it out there. Technically, for a voluntary lot merger, an applicant does not have to appear. But if you have questions, then obviously it would have to be continued. So legally, you could go forward with the application if, without an applicant.
I'm gonna have one question, but I don't know if it's a question that they need to answer or that you or the ZBA needs to answer.
I know what the question is. What does the lot become?
What zone?
And I have an answer for you.
Oh, you're all right.
I had that question as soon as I
So you
Commercial,
wanna go forward with,
Yeah,
This is the
Yeah.
part of the grass that own the store?
negative. I don't believe so.
so,
so overview.
right, so the lot 5-1, there's really only a tiny, tiny sliver, and I believe there's a tax map, copy of a tax map in with your packet.
Yeah.
So that tiny sliver is the one that's in the residential commercial zone. And so at one point, they deemed that whole lot residential commercial. But with the lot merger, because the majority of the lot will be in the residential zone and all of the frontage will be in residential, it will become residential.
I'm not 100% sure if that's correct. Because I know we've had some before and it went to the least restrictive zone. That's all I can tell you. So I don't know what else to say to that.
That's a good point.
All right, so
In our rules, for that RC zone, it follows the property lines. So, which it is done, but now the property lines are changing. So what does it become?
And you're right, and I think, I know I've seen that somewhere now that you brought that up. I don't know if it's in the zoning ordinance or if it's in the subdivision regulations. But I think I've seen that somewhere.
I'm sorry, but
I'm gonna agree with you on that.
yeah. What's that? What are we merging? We're merging this here,
Um,
this and this. This should be the RC, I believe, that lot 4. Am I correct on that?
The lot 4 is the residential, is in residential. That 5-1
The one with the big eye.
Oh, yeah.
has like a skinny handle
Yeah.
Yeah,
at the top of it.
all that,
And that's what,
This is
right,
a real funky
it really is.
zoning situation.
Another one's a little.
Didn't you run into that with Cicely?
No, that would be residential commercial
yeah,
there.
this is
Right.
quite the meeting of zones. You got
It sure is.
residential rural, you got residential commercial. Quite the meeting place.
I'm still trying to figure out where this is.
Okay.
Is
I
it-
had a hard time myself.
I I know this and this, but
This is the little sliver that's making it a,
Isn't this the old railroad bed through here?
for the Lake Road.
oh, okay.
Not necessarily, Russ. The railroad bed would, well, yes, that would be the railroad bed right there. The River Lake comes down there. So that is the old railroad bed, Russ, correct?
Right, the 5-1 thing.
Very correct, yep. Yep. And lot 7 is JP China.
Yeah, yeah.
So is the only part that is, the little handle, the only part that is, RC?
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's a minimum amount is RC, most of it's, residential.
Right, should be residential, just leave it at that. Splitting hairs.
But I don't know if that's what the rules are, Russ.
That, and it's not residential, it'd be rural.
Well, we have to be able to find a rule that says you can't do that somewhere. I don't know where that is.
I
I thought
know
it
what
was
it is.
something like 2/3 of the lot.
But I don't see RC going down there. I see the RC stopping at the start of lot 5-1. Am I
And
incorrect in saying?
It does, but
Yeah.
that little tail is in the RC.
Right.
So most of lot 5-1 and all of lot 4
Is residential.
is residential.
So where's the RC we're talking about?
It's that little,
Just that little tiny strip.
Yeah, I see it. Well, we gotta figure it out.
Basically, they're extending up into RC is what you're saying. Just a little sliver.
Yep.
so unless we really know what the rules are,
Now, what's that do to the tax base? Does it change it?
Well, a commercial lot's probably more worth than more than a.
Well, that's what I'm saying is,
But you
do the,
don't want to make what you end up doing is you'd end up changing the zoning boundary by making the whole thing RC, and you'd be extending it into the residential area. I think it's,
Not really, Russ. If you look at where lot 17 is, that's RC all the way down there. So you're not really infringing on
let me
on
see.
the other neighbor.
Wait.
I mean, technically, that line should have came 5/8 of the way down 5-1 anyway, rather than make that little zigzag and.
Well, it probably used to, but when we voted on changing the RC zone and how it was done, because that all came about because of the post office
It would
lot.
come in handy.
The post office lot, the RC zone went right down through it. Part of it was residential, part of it was residential commercial. This is why I know about the least restrictive zone. So it was all encompassed there. Then the back part of the grass property, which I own now, that was residential. And when they changed the ordinance to follow the property lines, that's when that whole lot became
Lot mergers.
commercial.
Nice.
So basically, they're doing the same thing here.
Lot
What happened
17
over
is where the sailing club was.
What's that, Tom? Tom, you're,
Is 17 where the sailing club was and now it's condo docks?
yeah, I think you're probably right, I think. It used to be Dobson. And if anybody looks at that, we see another 10-foot strip of G.V. Jones subdivision right there.
Man, it's your buddy.
Yep. G. Vinton Jones.
Just in case.
What's that?
Just in case.
well,
And I think these properties are used commercially. There are cabins there on that corner anyway, aren't there?
I think on this one, we'll have to check with Jim Sessler, because I don't think we have the right to change it.
We're not looking to change it. If Jessica can find the rule, the rule's the rule. We don't need Jim Sessler then.
Right.
Find the rule.
She's looking, guys.
Yeah, it's just a tiny little bit RC and, 99% residential. Or 95.
And you can't really do anything with that sliver that's up there.
And there is that note in here from John dealing with the owner about there's no record of any kind of septic.
I'm pretty sure there are cottages right there, a couple of cottages that,
Yeah, there are.
so that's commercial use anyway. Just saying. Right next to Giles, right?
Giles,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, Giles.
If you look on the back of the notice of decision from the ZBA,
Name rings a bell.
there's some notes about the cottages and the lack of septic node information.
All right, well, we're scrambling, trying to find something.
Yeah.
We can, consider tabling this until, well, Jessica does some research and,
Sorry, guys.
I know, and I'm just gonna point out that the difficulties of having to work from home when you can't come in and research anything.
yeah.
I get it. Stop people from having COVID here, you'd be okay.
Just end
I'll
COVID
try.
everywhere.
We can put that.
So,
But yes, I will agree with Scott that there is something, and I will research that and I'll find it. And if we have any questions, I mean, we have to continue it anyways, I guess, so.
Do we just want to plan on continue it?
I think so. I think
that,
that's your
that'll
best
give
bet.
you, that way you're not under a lot of pressure
Yeah.
while we're still trying to run through
I
cases.
I
so.
do agree that there is,
I'll move to, continue this meeting to the May 18 regular planning board.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Oh, that was Scott and Roger. All those in favor? Roger?
Aye.
Scott?
Aye.
Drew, aye. Tom? Russ?
Scott, you said May 18th?
May 18, yeah.
Oh,
This is
I think you're muted.
I got it.
Okay. All
Bye-bye.
right, you got it. Bye-bye.
Gives a thumb up.
All right, so continued. So, case P 21-08 has been withdrawn, in case anybody didn't catch that. Beginning.
Right.
For the restaurant or something.
Yeah, yeah.
That was withdrawn?
Yeah,
That was withdrawn, yep. Doing a little septic research.
I know exactly what's there. Cesspool.
Okay.
maybe that's why they're coming back.
Yeah, I know right where it is too.
So case P 21-09, adjusting lot lines for two lots of record with map 51, lot 10 adjusted from .16 acres to .72. And map 51, lot 11 adjusted from 6.92 to 6.36. So do we have, Mr. Yerkes? Hopefully I pronounced that right.
Turkeys.
Yerke?
Wow, I never got
Can you
that
hear
out of
me?
there either. Yep,
We can hear you.
can't see you.
Are you,
Hang on.
you have video? Oh, coming, he's coming.
There we go.
There you are.
There he is.
Amazing. That's
All
great.
right.
My
All
name
right.
is Frank Yerkes, for the record. I'm representing the Wild family.
Okay, Mr. Yerkes, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna run through real quick, make sure that everything is in order first, and then we'll ask you to do a presentation.
Okay.
All right?
So it appears there's no waivers submitted. And the only thing that was missing is those sample deeds.
Yeah, we need to do something with that because it's really kind of odd to prepare a sample deed before it happens, you know?
Right. I mean, originally, before the subdivision regulations changed, deeds were submitted to the office and we recorded them. So I think this is a hangover of, you know, submit a sample deed, so at least we can still, you know, make sure, you know, the language matches.
Comes back just down a couple offices.
No, so, but yeah, originally, actually, I think it was when I first started as secretary that we went and recorded the deeds, which we really shouldn't have. That's why we got rid of
You
it.
offer a layer of liability that you probably shouldn't assume.
Right, that's why we got rid of that.
Yeah, so make that as a action list that we need to fix the deed thing.
Yeah, the subdivision, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah, we'll just make that.
so,
The deed's gonna be the deed. I don't care how you want to dice it.
The only thing that can happen is the person copying it messes up, types it or whatever. But I
So,
can submit it then.
Yep.
so completeness, do I have a motion?
I'll move to, accept applicant P 21-09 as complete.
That was Scott.
Scott.
We have a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Roger. Any further discussion? All those in favor, Roger?
Aye.
Scott, aye.
Drew, aye. Tom?
Aye.
Russ?
Aye.
Bob?
Aye.
All right. Okay, Mr. Yerkes, if you can, sorry, you can give us now the lowdown.
Okay. Lot 5110 is an existing non-conforming lot of record. It's 0.16 acres. And we're proposing to increase the area to 0.72 acres or 31,363 square feet, which will bring it into conformance with zoning and subdivision. The existing frontage is 74.58 feet. We're going to increase that to 129.65. There's an existing house on the lot, which is shown on the plan. There's an approved 2-bedroom septic system, an existing drilled well. The electric service is underground. It's not shown on the plan because I don't know where it is, to be perfectly honest with you. And the subject to your approval, the new lot corners will be set prior and noted on the Mylar prior to submission to you folks for signatures. And then we'll add notes 2 and 3 from the planner review to the plan also. That's about all I have. I'd be happy to answer questions.
Great.
What was it you said you couldn't find, sir?
The
The
underground
underground
electric.
electric service,
Oh, it probably comes from a telephone pole.
It's got an electric meter
Yeah.
pole and then a meter mounted right at, so it's just secondary running in, or a
Yeah.
SCR running in. And you said there's a 2-bedroom septic approved?
yes, and it's in operation.
Who is the
And
owner of this parcel, this whole parcel here? It's,
Owen Wild owns the lot 5110, and his father and his
Yeah.
brother own 5111 that the additional land is coming out of.
okay, so this little 2-story wood frame house, that is a lot separate from the rest of this, correct?
Correct.
Thank you.
It's a separate lot of record.
Yep. Yep, and that used to be the old restaurant, if you want to call it as such, right there, I believe.
That's
That used
before
to
my
go to
time.
the hotel across- Yep, used to go to the hotel across the street.
We're showing already.
It looks to be a pretty easy one.
There you are. By at least two, I think.
I was gonna say, I think I ate there.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
All right.
Okay. Anybody have any, questions or comments?
I think he's running into the same thing I did when I did my subdivision. Taking the land from, adding on to 5110 from family that's 5111.
Yep,
They've got no problem. I mean, there's gotta be, how many acres there?
quite a few.
Quite a few.
Well, 6.92 and then 6.36
After, yeah,
after, yeah.
good guess. All right, do we have any motions?
Mr. Chairman, I will move to approve the lot line merger of P21-09.
Lot line adjustment.
Lot line adjustment. Thank you, Tom. The lot line adjustment. I stand corrected.
All right, do we have a second?
Don't merge them.
I'll second it.
Was that Russ?
Yeah, I'll second it.
All right. All right, any further discussion? All those in favor, Roger?
Aye.
Scott, aye.
Drew, aye. Tom?
Aye.
Russ, aye.
Bob?
Bye-bye.
Let's scramble them up. All right, everybody's an aye. Excellent.
He just-
All right, well, thank you very much, Mr. Yerkes.
He's
And
the next one,
he's
too.
got, yep, he's
Oh,
next
oh,
up.
that's right.
Thank you. I'm staying with you.
All right, don't go anywhere.
I'm here.
Okay, next case, P 21-10, subdivide map 51 lot 11 into two lots of record. The parent lot would consist of 2.08 acres and the subdivided lot would consist of 4.27 acres. All right. Jessica, is there anything we need to?
Usually we get 2 pages on a minor subdivision, one separate topography map. But that's all, so this is all on one subdivision plan. Usually there's a separate soils map, but the soils are indicated on this map as well. And again, with the sample deeds. And just still waiting, the New Hampshire DES subdivision approval is pending.
Now, the lot line adjustment on 5110, does that take away from the road frontage on 5111?
It looks like it leaves it with roughly 120,
28.
yeah,
What's the requirement now in all?
100.
In this location.
In this location?
Yeah.
Or is it
Is that
75?
on state highway?
It's 75.
Oh, is it 75?
75, Scott, you guys changed that in Zach.
Yep. I recall.
Yep, he's good with frontage.
So 75 feet?
Oh, we gotta,
Yeah, so let's do the completeness first. So, so there's no waivers on this.
no waivers at all.
Nope, no waivers.
Mr. Chairman, I will move on case P 21-10 to the completeness of the application. It's complete.
Okay, that was Scott making the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
That was Bob making the second.
Yep.
All right, running around for a vote. Roger?
Aye.
Scott, aye.
Drew, aye.
Tom, aye.
Yeah, Russ, aye.
Bye-bye.
All right.
I'll just start off with a question if I can. You were mentioning road frontages. I see 117 feet and I see 95 feet.
Yeah, but there's 3286, 32.86 to the left.
See you, Roger.
Oh, okay, so that arrow there made.
Actually, right where the driveway comes in off of Route 11D.
Yeah, so there must be the slightest bend or something in that property line.
Yep.
Okay.
One thing I see is the driveway
It's on the other guy's
is on the other
property.
guy, so there's gonna need to be a waiver. I mean, a easement.
Yeah, he speaks, to
driveway.
that. That's spoken to in the materials.
What driveway is on the neighbors? I don't see one on the neighbors.
If you see where the one with the barn is, Raj,
Yeah,
So-
well, there's a barn on both of them.
yeah,
The center lot.
the driveway comes in from here and goes over it.
Oh, up
Comes
here.
back in.
Oh.
Says note 7
And-
states that is subject to an access easement
Hey, Scott,
benefit.
Yeah,
does it on the next one too.
Yeah, note 8 does that one, says the same thing.
yeah, okay, good, so
Yeah.
that's resolved.
So that's the one. Carol.
The thing I had how you want to do this, Drew? Do you want to just ask questions? Or you want to have Mr. Yerkes
Well-
present?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Mr. Yerke should be, giving a brief presentation.
Are
So
you
when you're ready, sir.
Okay,
I'm as ready as I'm gonna be.
and I have answers too, hopefully. As you already mentioned, we're proposing to subdivide 5111 into 2 lots. Again, the wetlands are shown on the plan and the steep slopes are delineated. And the topo is with 2-foot contours. I put them together just because we're used to doing it that way. I didn't see in the ordinance where they should be separate, but that could have been my mistake. I just might have missed it. But at any rate, they're all on one plan. We did test pits and perk tests, and the test pit logs were submitted with the application, and the test pits locations are noted on the plan. As you've just discussed, we're using existing road frontage. Route 11D is a class 5 road maintained by the town of Alton. It was given to the town by the state some years ago,
1970.
1970, quite a few years ago.
Ago.
And to answer the question about width, it's an 1802 layout, and it's 4.5 rods wide, which is pretty wide.
4.5 rods?
4.5 rods.
Yeah, 4
That's
rod road is normal shape road.
Well, 16 and a half feet to a rod.
Right,
It's 74.5 feet,
yep. Yep,
which is unusual, but it was a
That's good.
state highway at the time.
yes, it was. And it was 50 miles an hour, I'll say that as well.
And now it's 35.
Now it's 35, because I used to get sandblasted waiting for the bus. Your father would come pick me up in the school bus with the ski bus.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
God, that was holy,
Okay, so,
that's way back.
That's way back.
Yeah.
I don't have much else. There's an existing 4-bedroom septic system on the lot 5111. The approval number is in the notes. And there's a drill well, which is shown.
Driveway?
Yeah.
Go on to the other guy's property.
Well, that's what Scott was saying, yeah.
What's the well for on the mother lot, shall we say, 5111-1? Where's
That's
that
just-
go?
I think this is a woods road, I think.
We just need to show a proposed well will fit on the lot for state subdivision approval.
Yeah,
Okay,
Woods Road is,
Culvert, or Woods Road.
so I noticed that your 4,000 area, it looks like it includes some steep slope as well. Is that shaded overlay on 5111-1? Is that what I'm, that
Yes, it
shaded
does.
area?
But as you know, for a leach field, you don't need the whole 4,000 square feet. It's just required by the state to show a 4,000 square foot area. We did do a test bit, which is test bit number 3.
E3, yeah.
And there again, the electric service is underground to the existing house on 5111. And there was,
Propane tanks.
Yeah, he has
Very-
portions, he probably keeps his portions.
Yeah, the propane tank though is
It's within the setback.
within the setback, yeah.
And if that's a 500 gallon, it has to be 10 feet.
So can I
Be
just,
buried now.
can I point something out?
Yeah,
So ordinarily, by having a topography on a separate sheet, you would have like your test pit data
Yeah.
and stuff listed on the plan. So this is just a separate sheet, and it's not sort of tied in with the subdivision plan, along with the contiguous buildable areas. But I just have a concern that these are gonna get, not that they're gonna get tossed aside, but they're not shown as tied in with the plan. So I'm just pointing that out.
Well, he could very easily print out another layer and put topo and test pit data on that, and then have another sheet for what he's showing us tonight. I mean, that,
Put a sheet two with the topo and, you know, the test pit stuff that's on separate sheets.
we can do that as a condition of approval. Again, I missed it in the regulations. I didn't see it.
Okay, yeah, and I know you had mentioned that you hadn't worked with Alton before, so, I mean, every town's different, so,
it's really not a big deal. I mean,
yep.
So, I'm a little concerned with the shape of the big lot.
I'm glad you brought that up. I did some calculations. And I know it's an odd shape, but it's basically woodlands. But I did some calculations on the length to width ratio. And what I did was, for lot 5111, I took the front rectangle and I averaged the length, and then I took the back parcel and I averaged the length, and then I added the two together and divided by 2. And then I did the same thing with the width on the rear parcel and the front parcel, and I averaged them together. And coincidentally, I came up with 3 to 1. I know that sounds suspicious, but the numbers don't lie. I'd be happy to submit my math for review.
I actually have no doubt that that math comes out with those numbers.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that that's the intent of the,
Yeah, well, I
The
almost wanted to
ratio.
change it a little. It was so suspicious. And then the other one,
Something else is happening.
5111-1, again, I took the back parcel and I averaged the lengths, and I took the front parcel with the barn on it and I averaged the lengths, and then I divided by 2, and then I did the same thing with the widths, and I came up with 1.6 over 1, because the back piece is pretty wide. But these, I know it's an odd shaped lot, but really it can't be subdivided again. I mean, this is it for, I think, for dimensional purposes.
So we have so we're gonna have a barn. It's already there on the second lot on 11-1.
Correct.
And if somebody wanted to build a house, they couldn't, or they'd have to tear down the barn and use the barn.
No, they'd put it out in the back.
Convert the barn.
Proposed wells.
Well, I think right now the barn is just an accessory structure. There's no there's not any living quarters in there that I'm aware of.
Right, there isn't, right.
No, just portions.
No, but in terms of it making, if someone were to make that lot, viable, there would be no way to put a house out back because even though there's a right of way going next to the other house, to get to the backwoods lot, that would be a real inconvenience on the middle lot.
Yeah, but
It's
you
fine
see
to have it for a woods road.
I don't follow you. I mean, you could, if somebody wanted to build on 5111 in the back, they could just go up and then they could peel off behind the barn with the driveway. But that's not the intent here. I know. It's a good
Yeah,
question.
Well, I don't know if the wetlands would give a second access.
Oh, I see.
I don't think the wetlands would give a second access across the wetland, since there's
No,
already one that exists with a right of way to it.
No, you could put a house if you wanted to. You could put a house where the proposed well is. That's upland, it's
Yes,
not
that would
wetland.
make sense. And you could put the well in the wetland.
You could do that. You could slide it over to the edge of the wetlands.
Yeah. All right. Still funny looking.
It is funny looking, I know.
Ron Arsenal did that with his well. He slid it over 10 feet and they put it in wetlands and they made him move it.
Really?
Ask Ron about it.
Well, the well itself can't be in wetlands, but the pollution-free radius can.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
go right to the edge of it. All right.
All right. So,
What are you looking at me for?
you got any motions? Well, you've been the motion man, that's why.
Well, Jessica's concern was these not being on the map.
Well, we talked about
Yeah, we talked about that.
the,
Separate topo.
creating a second page, if you will, of drawings that will have the topos and the soils and, yeah. So. Anybody else want to make a motion? Scott's getting hoarse.
Bob, you want to do it?
No,
No. Okay. Make a motion to approve the subdivision on, this is P 21-10, with the condition that there'll be the wetland, what was it, Jessica, exactly? Is it you want the topo on
Yeah, topo on a
Second
separate
page with
sheet.
the soils and topography.
and the soils, okay, with the second page.
Yep. Yes.
In subsequent conditions, of course, right?
Right.
Right, all the other conditions.
All right, so we have a motion by Russ. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Roger seconds it. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Roger?
Aye.
Scott? Virgil, I'm gonna skip you because you missed most of this. Drew, aye. Bob?
aye.
Russ?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
All right, there we go.
And this will be continued May 18th.
Thank you.
Nope, this one's been approved.
This one's been approved. So, for the record, Virgil McDonald has joined the meeting. And we are moving on to case P 21-11. To subdivide map 1 lot 29 into 2 lots of record. Parent lot would consist of 129.6 acres. The subdivided lot would consist of 2.028 acres.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'm on the Conservation Commission with Gene Young. And he's talked to me about this, riding on the chairlift up at Sunset. So I want to recuse myself.
Okay. So we can,
So you'll need
Can
to
appoint
appoint
an
someone to
alternate.
fill Russ's spot.
go, huh?
Thanks, Tom.
So, Bill, would you,
Hey, it's a
all right,
team.
so. All right, so Bill's gonna step in as the alternate, so. Jessica, you wanna
Drew?
do a quick, I'm sorry, yes? No?
I was gonna make
Thank you,
a, suggest that the subject of the waivers is the same thing as we had in the very beginning. I would recommend that we accept them all because we're taking a small piece out of a dry section of a lot. And I don't think it would impact anything.
Okay,
That's just
Was that a
my
motion,
thought
Tom?
at the moment. You guys can talk it over.
all right, so we have Steve joining us too, by the way, on video. So,
So there was just a few things, let's see, usually, again, there's supposed to be a separate soils map, but they're located on the topo. Let's see, certified wetland scientist report, there's no wetlands observed, and, Randy Tatro, as the wetland scientist, stamped the plan. So that's all set. There was just
I thought it was
Pearson's farm.
there was just a couple other things.
Going up by Danny Carter's.
Carlos is on Meterboro.
Yes, yeah,
all
okay.
right, sorry, Jessica?
Usually wells and septic systems are noted on the plan. I don't see those. And, location of a proposed driveway. And it was not indicated whether subdivision, state subdivision approval was pending or not. I don't see that noted anywhere.
Being under 5 acres, it needs to be.
So those were that was my 2 cents.
Okay.
Well, before we can accept it, we have to deal with the waiver.
Correct.
Okay, so,
Waivers.
On
so the
page two,
waivers, so, Tom, hang on, Steve.
I would be willing to make a motion that we accept, that we grant the 4 waivers asked for.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Because it's not gonna impact anything.
No.
No, but don't we have the rules that you gotta have it all on the print before we give anything? The driveway, the proposed driveway and everything else, that's part of the planning board rules.
So
Right, but we-
completeness is, like, the plan has been submitted, the application was submitted, fees are submitted, so that's completeness. The items that are on the plan don't have to do with completeness. That can be part of, like, the conditions precedent to put, all of these things need to get put on it.
Okay, so we have a motion,
I will second, that's not a second.
okay.
On the waivers.
So that's to grant the 4 waivers requested.
No.
So any discussion on the waivers? Hearing none, put it to vote. Roger?
Aye.
Scott, aye.
Drew?
Virgil, aye.
Virgil, aye. Sorry, I forgot Virgil. Drew, aye.
Bill, aye.
Tom, aye.
Oh, Bill's,
Bye-bye.
Had to retract.
and Russ abstained.
I'll just let you know.
Thanks, Bill. Okay, so completeness, right?
Daniel Carter lot,
Is that,
where is this lot? Because I'm seeing Daniel Carter.
Yeah, just down from here.
Oh, the Alton Durham town line goes right between Danny Patty's
I think it
house
might-
and garage.
Yeah, exactly.
So is any of this property,
Is it abut the town of New Durham? Steve?
No.
What's that?
No, it does not. There's tax map 1, lot 32, abuts the town of New Durham, which is an abutter to
I think
us.
we gotta do the,
Yeah.
so I think we need to, decide on the completeness of the application at this point, yes?
On
Steve
page
has his
2,
hand up.
So,
on page 2 is the well radius 4K area, and I just need to label the barway as the driveway entrance. It says barway, top left corner, on page 2.
Wow, I guess I'm blind.
yeah,
I
me
don't see
too.
the word Barway anywhere.
No, you've got to write that one.
The Barway would be on Meadowborough Road, right, Steve?
That's correct.
Okay.
It's right up by the
Yeah, I don't-
rebar, right by the power pole. It says barway. It's a break in the stone wall where the drill hole where our property line is, going down the stone wall towards our client's house, down Middleborough Road, going southeast. There's a break in the barway right at the corner.
Oh, right at the very, very, I don't see a north arrow, but in the top left-hand corner of the lot.
Yeah, okay.
Is that what you're talking about, Steve?
Where
That's
110
correct.
is.
Yep, right at the elevation 110,
Oh,
right? Okay, I got it. It doesn't say Barway, though.
you look,
Right by the
Right.
110, it says SWS RC RBCF 1
Right in the
inch.
left-hand corner up top, Meadowborough
Right,
Road.
that's the
followed
corner,
all
and that's where the barway is, going down our property.
Why didn't you just put a driveway?
That's where the driveway's going.
That'll say it right on when you adjust these prints.
That is correct.
Okay, so, we still have not decided whether this application is complete.
We can't discuss it till after we decide that, can we?
Nope. Jess, are we missing anything else? I mean, stuff on the plan can be added.
Right, and I overlooked the fact that the wells were on the other topo page. So, yeah,
Okay, so,
so that's all set.
Mr. Chairman, I will move on case P 21-11 to accept the application as complete.
Second.
Seconded by Virgil.
That is Scott that made the motion.
All right.
Virgil, did you have a question or something? Okay.
All right, so all those in favor, Roger?
Aye.
Scott, aye.
Virgil?
Aye.
Bill?
Bill, aye.
Drew, aye. Tom?
I.
Bye-bye.
All right. All right, so,
Not Steve.
okay, so Steve, you want to kind of walk us through?
And I also need to go on record that my fiance is sitting to my left doing her own work, so I'm going on record that somebody is in the room with me.
Carter's property.
Okay.
Okay.
Dog or what?
You don't.
All right, so what we're doing is we have 132 acres and we're cutting off,
Do they have to notify the abutters of New Durham?
Hey, Lee? We listen to Steve, please. No. Okay, sorry, Steve.
that's fine. We got 132 acres, existing currently. And we are gonna cut off, 2.028 acres, to create a single lot, up in the upper left-hand corner of the parcel. We did take out the steep slopes, and the non-wetlands, because there are no wetlands in this area. And we ended up with 80,000 square feet of, upland, non-steep slope, so we meet the minimum town regulation of 3/4 of a lot. And we provided all the remaining information, and that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple.
Okay. So any comments, questions? Lee, did you have a question or?
No, I was just saying if this butts up against Danny Carter's property, then do we have to notify? Because half of his property's in New Durham, half's in Alton. Do you have to notify the butters in New Durham that this is being subdivided?
Yeah, I think it's only the immediate abutter, the one who's actually touching the property line. So if New Durham doesn't own a piece of that property, you know, up against it, then no.
Well, is there a difference? It's like a roadway. When I subdivided my mother's property, I had to contact all the people across the road from me.
Yeah, that's probably been done, already.
So what's the difference between a boundary line and a driveway?
The boundary is, if the subdivision is abuts.
I know what you're saying, but what I'm saying is the property is butting up against.
But there's a property in between there and the boundary, that's the difference. If this property has to be up against the town line for that.
So the other side of the Meterboro Road isn't New Durham.
Right, if the other side of Meterboro Road is New Durham, then New Durham would have to be notified, or that landowner in New Durham would have to be notified as well, so.
What he's saying is that land isn't New Durham, it's still Alton, on the other side of the road.
No.
I don't think.
And on the other side of our subject lot is Alton.
I'm saying it's butting up against Danny Carter's.
The main lot butts up against Danny's.
Yes.
That's okay. Just if this lot, this 123 acres, abutted the town line, that's what triggers the notice,
Right.
the neighboring town.
It's down
Not
to
that-
a lot in between
not
the
that the
town
cattle
line
lot.
and,
I'm just trying to, I got you now.
Okay?
I'm just trying to learn.
No problem.
that's all right.
I don't ask, I don't learn.
I had a lot of questions from the start, Joe.
I still have a lot of questions. Okay. Any other thoughts, comments?
It looks pretty straightforward.
Bless you.
Bless you.
Okay, you guys just need to come up with the active and substantial developments or building and substantial completion of improvements. And it's usually to, place the monumentation. That's what you guys usually do.
And we gotta make sure that conditions precedent that the driveway area be marked.
Yep, I have that listed. I added that on.
Does that need to be squared away with highway first on getting them look at it? I believe that does,
Right, to have them,
to approve it.
Yep,
Yeah, subject to their approval.
Gotta have the subdivision approval as well.
yes, that's also listed.
And it's pending with the state.
Yeah.
Yep,
So Steve, you'll need to get the highway agent and stake out the driveway and have them approve the line of sight and stuff like that.
That's correct. I believe Gene has already talked to the highway, but I will confirm with Gene when I talk to him tomorrow.
Is there a conservation easement on this lot?
Yes, and we are working with the Conservation Easement Group, and they are reviewing the files and the plans as we speak.
Okay, maybe you should enlighten us to what is going on so we can make sure that we don't get egg on our face.
Just what I was gonna say.
The
I don't-
Conservation
I can
Easement,
add something to that if you need it, just some facts, but,
All right, well, let's hear from Steve first, just,
yeah,
So-
okay, go ahead.
the Conservation Easement is, I forgot the name of the group. Do you remember who it is,
Yeah,
Russ?
it's the Society for the Protection of New Hampshire Forests.
That's correct.
And the easement allows for one lot to be subdivided, and that's what Gene is doing.
So it's already permitted under the easement.
That's correct.
That's all we need to know.
Yep, okay, thank you.
Any more questions?
Yes, you have plenty of options here. You're right that we can extend this or are you happy enough with the conditions of the precedent adding for those few things that we need to add?
Yeah, I mean, I usually add that on to every plan review. So that gives you options to continue if you have to.
Mr. Chairman, case P 21-11, I move to approve the subdivision with the conditions precedent of what was just outlined previously, the driveway. What else did we say? My mind's just-
Well radius was on.
The well radius was taken care of, so.
And the septic 4Ks there. Was there anything else? There was one more thing I thought.
The driveway is gonna be subject to approval.
Yeah.
Oh, state
New Hampshire
approval.
subdivision approval.
New Hampshire yeah, thank you. New Hampshire subdivision approval.
Second.
Seconded by Virgil. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Roger, aye.
Scott, aye.
Virgil, aye.
Bill, aye.
Drew, aye.
Tom, I.
Bob, aye.
All right, there we go. Excellent.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you, Steve.
Have a good night.
All right, and with that, I assume Russ is coming back and Bill's gonna step back into the standby.
Obscurity.
Thanks, Bill.
Yeah.
All right, so next case is, P 21-12. This is subdivision proposal subdivide a 4-lot subdivision. Proposed lots will range from 2.9 acres up to 11.8 acres. Access to all 4 lots will be off Powder Mill Road, Class 5 road. Lots 1 and 2 will have single-family home. Lot 3 has an existing house, and Lot 4 has an existing garage, which could stay as a garage or as a single-family home. And we have Paul here. Yep, Paul is on screen. So we'll start off with Jessica. You want to give us a quick background? Because this is not new to us.
Right. Yes, I mean, he was in for design review. The couple of things, let's see, New Hampshire DES subdivision approvals pending. He's gonna have to get driveway permits. On the final plan, to just put the certified wetland scientist's stamp. Let's see. Sample deeds are missing. And there were some comments from the fire department, but we can get into that after.
Okay, I noticed too, the test pit data is on separate sheets as well.
Yeah, there's usually a report and then there's some soil data on sheet 1. There's some soil data right over
Right, yeah, I
here.
didn't see the test pits though identified.
Okay.
No waivers. Okay, and ZBA did grant the special exception to Article 300.
Yes, they did.
All right, so, completeness?
Mr. Chairman, case P 21-12, I move that this case be considered, the application be considered complete.
All right, Scott? And Virgil seconds? All right, any further discussion? All those in favor, Roger?
Aye.
Scott, aye.
Drew, aye. Tom?
Tom, I.
Bob?
Bob, aye.
Russ?
Aye.
All right. All right, Paul, you want to give us quick summary, or?
I've already gone over this like 3 times in 3 different meetings. What more can I say? Again, with the fire chief's remarks about having to do a cistern. I mean, the only thing that kicked this into a major was that one lot with the garage. Again, if we had gone with just 3 lots, this would have been an issue. And he keeps saying, if we fall in his service area, well, we don't even know where his service area is, do we?
Negative. I'd like to interject here.
I'm right behind him interjecting.
Back 10, 12, maybe even 15 years ago, the fire chief of the town at the time decided that cisterns would be a good thing. They were and started inflicting them on subdivisions.
Everybody, yeah.
And they were never approved by the town. So all those cisterns, whether they're in or some were still on paper, the ones on paper didn't have to put them in. The other ones are, sorry, too bad. Now, in about 2002, the town purchased a tanker truck because we knew we had areas in the town that were relatively dry. And since we have someone who knows the fire service here, I think he would say that if you don't show up, if you show up with the water on wheels and you don't get it with that, you're probably not getting it. Correct. End of my story. Because these cisterns are a waste of about $30,000 for the applicant. And
they're all
you know,
over town
I had
that
the,
aren't maintained.
I was gonna say, the maintenance is the biggest thing.
I had the town completely mapped for water sources. Now, if they want to, we've had people that have donated some money towards the dry hydrant program, and that's strictly voluntary. I feel the dry hydrant program will be much better because usually you tap into a much bigger water source than a 10,000 gallon cistern. And when you have a pumper that pumps 1,500, 2,000 gallons a minute, you haven't got much water there. So, I think we need to put this cistern thing to bed once and for all. Either do them or let's stop talking about them.
Let's stop talking about it.
Stop talking about it.
All right, so they're in your regulations.
Well,
Then we
So-
got.
then they haven't been approved by the Board of Selectmen to install these things. And that's where the problem lies. And Jim Cecil was involved with it. So if we put them into subdivision regs, they were erroneously put in there, which we shouldn't have.
Okay. So will be another discussion,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
while we're going
That's the
through
history
the
of
subdivision regs.
We'd much rather see a dry hydrant, because that normally is real water. And if we had an area that was similar to the campground down at the bay,
That'd be a little different.
out in that district with houses that are 2 feet apart, that would be a different story. But we have houses on 2-acre lots plus, and there's 100 feet or so between them, easily. And you're not gonna get a contact burn there, you know, so it's just, they don't really serve a purpose. And the town of Barnstead requires 30,000 gallons with self-filling features, which is even worse.
Thing of it is also is if we check into it, there's a lot of ponds that were built by the Corps of Engineers that were originally designed back in the 70s and 60s.
Yep.
For fire department reasons, but they never finished by putting a dry hydrant in.
One of them that is Brad Jones' subdivision going up Alton Mountain Road. The people are high and low, especially the people on the low side, didn't like that pond there. And they said they wanted to destroy it. And I says, you can't, it's there. Well, I went through the state and the state said what they said and I wrote a nasty letter and Russ Bailey was the thing at the time saying, well, you don't mix words. I says, well, you know, this is right and wrong. It's there. And the people to this day went and just dug out the discharge of it, and it's grows grass mowing now.
Are we talking from me on the left?
Yep.
The fire pond?
Yeah.
The fire pond.
So trying to stay,
Oh, no.
Trying to stay a little bit on task here, I have a quick question though. If the fire department is saying that they recommend this, and you're saying that our ordinances require it, how do we get around it?
Just look it up to see if they were legally put into the ordinances first.
The town has been mapped with the state, on water sources. There is a map down at the fire station that alludes to what could be a water source. And so the town can start to put some money into this dry hydrant program. It was all settled with the town when I was there, and that we're gonna start putting these dry hydrants in coming along to provide not just for a subdivision, for the whole neighborhood.
I mean, I don't disagree with you on anything that I'm hearing, but if we have a rule that's in place, that's in our subdivision regulations.
Well, can we look up and see when we voted on that, when the one planning board voted on that, when the selectmen approved it? Because I disagree with the cisterns. I think they're a waste of money.
Well, I mean,
Something goes wrong with you, replace them.
I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that,
Don't maintain it.
but we have, right,
I remember when they came in front of us and said, well, we can't use certain water because it's got allergy in it. We don't want that in our tanks. But they'll pump out a cistern that's been sitting there for 10 years, untreated.
How do they know it has a need? I've got one over by my house that the trees are growing over it. I mean, there's trees this big growing on top of the cistern. It's never been.
None of them have been taken care of.
can we help this guy out?
so
Now that pond you're talking about.
trying to get this, we gotta deal with what we got right here, right now, and how do we do that without,
I make a motion, we did not require him to put the cistern in.
Yes, I second that motion.
Drew,
So how far away is there another dry
can
hydrant?
I ask a question?
Take it down the road.
Well, here's the other
There's a-
issue.
There's a river just right at the Alton Mountain. You're going town line there.
No, you got,
so hang on, guys, so we,
Huh?
I mean,
I don't know about
here's,
that.
here's the main issue.
hang on, take five.
Excuse me,
Virgil,
I'm
say it
having an
slow.
awful hard time following the discussion because there's too many people talking at once. Can you guys
Yeah, I
take
agree.
turns?
So did you hear the motion, Bob?
No, I did not.
Okay, so Virgil, would you repeat the motion?
I made a motion that we allow him to not put in the cistern.
And that was seconded by Roger. So now we can have a discussion about that. And I wasn't sure if it was Russ or Tom.
Well, I had.
But somebody was-
The reason
So hang on, so let Russ,
So, could we, also use Merry Meeting Lake? How far away is that to, they have a
Absolutely.
there, right?
In the case of a fire,
Yes.
the fire chief has martial law to get water anywhere he can, or she can.
Russ, that's about a mile down the road.
That's too far away?
Not with a series of tankers.
oh, you shuttle it.
If you see what goes to a fire these days, there's like 50 trucks, so there should be plenty.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is, the fire department wants us to do something like this. Can't we just reference that we could get the water from Merry Meeting and call it a day for this one?
It's in the service area.
Yeah.
But there's a boat launch right there too. I mean,
Yeah.
you back right up on the boat launch.
Matter of fact, I think they're dry hydrants.
There's a dry hydrant right there.
There's plenty of water.
I think there's one on the further end of the dam.
So,
So in order to satisfy, at least try to satisfy what the fire department wants.
right, hang on, Lee.
Yeah,
This is
Russ.
gonna get picked up if we're talking multiple people at the same time.
in order,
Russ.
I was just trying to finish that. So in order to satisfy the fire department's request until we can get the rules changed, why don't we just say we're going to reference that there's water available at Merry Meeting Lake, which is not that far away.
Good idea.
Yeah. Okay, any other discussion? I mean, we have that motion second.
I just want to say that, I mean, the fire department uses that it's out of their area. I mean, the houses go beyond this. There's houses before it. They go way beyond. I mean, you might be adding a couple of houses here. There's already, on 2 lots, there's already buildings. You know, so we're just adding a couple of buildings. I mean,
You're adding 2 more lots.
2 more lots, and you want them to put in a cistern? I mean, sounds handy, but you can't impose that on people just because it would be handy.
I agree.
Is there any
Well, your
further
ord-
discussion on that motion?
Your ordinance also states, I think, that the homeowners association is supposed to be created and that the homeowners are supposed to take care of that cistern.
Right. That's what it says. If it needs replacement, the homeowner will change it.
Yep.
And there's no homeowners association created for these 4 lots.
All right.
So, we have a motion, we have a second. Can I have a vote? Roger?
Aye.
Scott, aye.
Virgil, aye.
Drew, aye. Bob?
Tom, aye.
Bye-bye.
Bob? Russ?
Aye.
There we go. So, moving right along.
I'd like to, Mr. Chairman, I would like to make sure the record clearly shows that we consider that there was a water source available for these houses. Not that far away.
Okay.
So that
Oh,
would be that it would be inside the service area,
Yeah.
because that's where it's either,
What defines a service area? I don't know if there's a formula.
oh, so that's what the wording is.
I know,
All right, well, we took care of that, but that's good.
And that was Virgil, you motioned?
Yes.
Who seconded?
Roger
Roger,
seconded.
okay.
Yep.
I mean, why did they put a drive system right next to that river right over on Route 28 there, Coffin Brook?
All right, let's stay on this and let poor Paul get through this. He's suffered enough on this particular application.
I have a question about lot 4.
Okay?
The existing building is in the wetland, and the proposed house site is within the setback of the wetland.
No, that red line that goes through that building is the 75-foot setback for the septic. The 25, it does not fall within that 25-foot setback.
It's not marked on here anywhere.
Well, I put two setbacks on that side. There's a red line that shows a 25-foot setback. And then the setback that goes through that proposed house is the 75-foot septic setback for the wetlands, which I show that 4K area out of it.
Right. So the driveway is staying outside the 25-foot setback,
Oh, yes.
and I see what you did.
The existing building doesn't fall in the wetland, but it does fall within that 25-foot setback.
All right,
And the
All right,
majority
any
of
other?
that building that falls in that 25-foot setback is just an awning. There's no building under it. It's dirt floor.
oh, okay. So, yeah,
Right, anything else, guys? Board? All right, I'll entertain a motion.
Wait, before you motion?
Go, before we motion.
Yep. Active and substantial development.
The question.
Yes.
So,
You want to put boundary markers again?
Yes, yeah, I think that's all you're really, being on the street, I mean, what else can we
Right.
do?
good
And,
enough for me.
Open up public input. That we haven't, just bring it in, but
yeah,
First time tonight.
yeah, might as well try it now. Is there anybody from the public?
Okay. Peter Gilligan.
Peter Gilligan? Okay. So Peter?
Yep, I'm here, just no video yet.
Okay.
Hello.
There you are. Hi.
Hello, two things. We are, my family, my wife Kirsten and I, we're the abutter in the rear of all 4 of these lots. All we want to do is give our support to the wards and tell them and just give our support to this project and let them know that we appreciate them as neighbors and we're here to support them. Second of all, there's a closer water source right on Old Wolfboro Road. So within less than a mile from this location where they could get water from. So I totally agree with you guys on the cistern, and there's even a closer water source than Merry Meeting that's on the other side on Old Wolfboro that coincidentally enough, all the water comes from the property of the wards and ours. So it would be very serendipitous to use that rather than Merry Meeting.
Well, the headwaters Cascade Brooker right up there somewhere.
Yep. So we're just here to give our support and welcome the new neighbors and give our support to the wards, and that's about all. Just here to show support.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Have a good one.
Maybe the town should have a nice little map showing all the water sources in town.
We have it, Paul. It's at the fire station. I know it's there. I trust it better still be there. I'm the one that had it done. Mainly for the reason for South Alton's dryer.
Yep.
All right. So now I'll entertain a motion.
Yep, I don't have anything else.
Mr. Chairman, on case P21-12, to approve the subdivision as presented with conditions precedent, substantial completion, pinning the lot within 12 months. Second.
Seconded by Virgil. Any other discussion? Hearing none. Roger?
Aye.
Scott, aye.
Virgil, aye.
Drew, aye. Tom?
Tom, aye.
Bye-bye.
Russ?
Yeah, Russ, I.
And Bob, aye. I heard that. Hey.
The driveway is a part of that too, right?
It is in the conditions, yeah. It's listed in, yep.
I failed to remind
Yes,
myself.
receive and submit copies of approved driveway permits.
All right.
I think when he said on Wolfboro Road, there's a brook right there.
Yeah, just
Right below me.
just by Mike Nicholson's garage lot.
Just below Peckham's at the end.
Is there also a pond just past Powder Mill Road on the left right there? A little pond, just right by Elaine Ferry's old house?
Well,
I used to bring a guy firewood, and I thought there was a little pond he had built out by his house there.
We just don't have
So I think-
paperwork on this next one. It's
Yeah,
it's
so-
occurring, but I just don't have
Mike
paperwork.
Nicholson's garage.
So I think we're all set. Paul, I think we're all set?
Yep, we're all set, Paul.
I can
Thank
make
you.
both arguments.
All right. Thanks. Have a great night. Okay, so, item number 5 on the agenda is discussion with the board regarding case P04-09.
Yes. So, we have Brad Hunter coming in again. So you guys don't have any paperwork. It's just this discussion with Brad. This is the lot that we were talking about to do the revocation on in the subdivision. And, should be online. You know, he can explain some things. He's kind of just wants to see, if he goes through with the subdivision, how you guys feel about it.
So he says he did
I
not.
still have a copy of the subdivision.
So the
I'm sure
subdivision.
you do, Tom.
Subdivision plan got
Yeah, I do.
prematurely approved.
Recorded.
Yes, it got recorded.
Yep.
Covenants are in place, but physically, it hasn't taken place. So it's just on paper. So he's,
Right.
but
I believe is online, wants to discuss and.
Hey, Brad.
recorded at the Belknap County deeds, but it's just not finished here.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
So how does that happen? Because that was my beef before, is how does that happen? If you ain't finished here, how can you register dead deeds? And then we
and I know.
I can answer that, and I'm not
And it
gonna-
did-
I'm
it
not
did-
gonna-
you're right.
The previous planner just went through,
Yep.
either she threw it out or recorded it, one or the other.
That's been my beef.
Am I right on that?
You can't record until we're done.
Right.
Because we're getting subdivisions back that we have no paperwork, no nothing on, that they say, well, it's already recorded.
Yep. So, yeah, so,
I
Brad,
thought Brad came in one time, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brad, is to nullify the whole subdivision. Am I incorrect in saying that?
I'm sorry, Scott, I didn't understand the question.
At one time you came in that you wanted the whole subdivision rescinded and wanted it all back as one lot. Am I incorrect in saying that? I thought you came in at one point in time.
No, no.
that's what we were talking about prior meetings.
Go ahead.
That's okay.
All right, Brad.
I know a lot of you guys are familiar with this, but the people that aren't familiar, I'm Brad Hunter. I had a partner back in 2002. We purchased this property with the intent to subdivide it and put a road in. It seemed like a great location for a subdivision. All the lots would have town water. We started the subdivision process in 2003. It went on for several years. It was finally approved by the state, Army Corps of Engineers, the town, everyone in 2008. In August of 2008, went right. It was kind of perfect timing back then for the Great Recession. So we never started the subdivision. I mean, we never started the road construction because it at the time, kind of would have been financially suicidal to do that. The lots wouldn't have been worth what they cost.
This would be the extension of Pearson Road.
Right, goes out to Bay Hill in the
Well,
town.
it doesn't quite
Right.
go to Bay Hill.
Yeah,
Our main runs down, right in the middle, right down through there. That's what the roadways cut in there, was the town main we put through.
And I think if I remember right, that each house had to have a booster pump because the water pressure was probably not satisfactory because you're at the same
Right.
elevation as the reservoir.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, we weren't too much lower than the reservoir. So, a lot of time has gone by. We extended the permits as long as we could, but they one by one, they've all expired. And really, the cost to do this wouldn't have been viable until fairly recently. So, but it seems like it would be viable to do it now. So I just wanted to open the discussion to see, what kind of, how hard it would be to get reapproved with the town, what the board's feeling is on it. And then,
well, I think your town approval still sits, your AOT and things like that, where your headaches are gonna lie.
Well, here's the question. If it still exists, why don't I have a subdivision?
Yours are recorded too, aren't they?
Yours is recorded,
You have a subdivision.
yes, recorded.
I think you're gonna have to get somebody's opinion on this.
So, yeah, I.
Because everybody,
Right.
everybody had to come back each year and extend it. That's what Joe Spain did. He kept on coming
Yeah.
back each year,
But once you have.
extending it, and finally he says,
Well, the subdivision
Right.
is good, you just gotta put the road in.
So once the subdivision approval is done and approved by the state and it is recorded, it's a subdivision.
This is what is weird, is because if this wasn't recorded lots, they would have to have substantial improvement done to the project. I'll use my project for instance. I've got 9 houses in there. I'm vested, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I have substantial improvement done. You don't in yours, and Brad doesn't in his. But, they're all recorded, so that's.
That recording, that throws a loop in the whole thing.
And I
Right.
think,
So let's-
But he has no development, so it's kind of like what goes first, which,
So let's-
so
let's-
after tonight, I need to discuss this with Jim
Oh,
on
nice.
how do we go forward with
so
that?
let's shrink it down to a smaller case. Now, the last person, what they had to do to make it precedent was they had to put in the meets and bounds. They had to make that a subdivision, they had to put in the
Pins.
pins.
Within a certain period of time.
Right, so they had to put in the pins within a certain time. So now that's a subdivision forever, correct? There's no coming back every year.
I think you have a subdivision forever because it was recorded.
Well,
I'm not.
So we'd have to
Right,
pull,
right.
we'd have to pull up, the original approval, right? And, you know, I agree. I mean, it seems like once it's recorded, but were there conditions?
Right.
And were they all met?
Yeah,
You
there's
know,
two parts to it, right? There's two
There are
parts.
parts to it, but, you know, I think we can't hold an applicant hostage to something that was erroneously recorded where it shouldn't have been. I mean, the town has some responsibility here that, you know, okay, we messed up. Suck it up, big boy, and we're gonna move along.
don't have pins out there, Raj?
well, okay, so what are you gonna do with Mr. Ward? Are you gonna wait a year to record his thing?
No, he has a year to do, see, his is a little different because it's on a roadway. He doesn't have, there's nothing for him to substantially complete other than pinning the lots. That's it. So that's why he has 12 months to do that.
So, Russ, you had something that you wanted to say?
Well, I'm just saying is that there's two parts to this in order for it to have a subdivision stay a subdivision, or actually subdivide. One is recording it properly, and the other one is doing the substantial completion that was required by the planning board, whatever that was. Is that true? Am I getting that right?
I believe so, yeah.
And so in this case, do we have those two things?
Every lot is he's being taxed as individual lots, not a main lot. And the thing about it is another thing, that lot probably was in current use, and now that the town has shot themselves in the foot in gaining that current use penalty.
Which lot are we talking about?
Brad's lot.
No, that's not true, because even if even though it's a subdivision, it can remain in current use, and then as each lot comes out.
Right, but Roger, the difference here, they would separate it and record it as individual lots.
Right.
That's the tipping point.
I know, but the penalty isn't.
It's individual lots.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, well, but as
You
far
still
as,
need to have,
That's right, because you've got to have 10 acres to be in current use, so.
2 acres.
Huh?
If you make $3,500 a year out of it, you can current use 2 acres if you'd like.
What?
well, yeah,
That's another discussion.
yeah, that's a whole nother discussion, believe me, so,
But
yeah.
anyway, the town, I don't think can do their 10% penalty on current use penalty on lots that have already been deeded, that recorded as an individual lot. This was a serious blow to Russ Wilder because his operation doesn't get the penalty.
So I still think, though, we need to consult with council, because if
Absolutely.
there were conditions precedent that were not satisfied as part of the approval, it does, you know, I think it'd be pretty easy for us to go back and say, okay, but we still need to review and what regulations may have changed since that original
What right
approval.
would the town have to say, oh, you have, how many lots is that, Brad? 10, 15?
19.
19. I have 19 deeds here, 19 recorded deeds. We're gonna take them away from you. We've got one now.
Can't.
Ain't gonna happen.
I've got 26.
Does he get 19 tax bills?
Yeah, you get 19 tax bills, right, Brad?
No, you don't, do you?
Yes, he does.
You're shaking your head, yes. You get 19 tax bills?
I don't get them.
The way-
My old partner gets them, but yeah, he pays it every year.
So the land's not in current use, or it is in current use?
It is in current use.
And the town planner that
It's in current use.
there did it.
So it's in current use? He says it's in current use, so you can't get,
Well, the thing about it is you can't be in current use and have a 1 acre lot at the same time in a bunch of them.
right.
It just doesn't work that way. So the
Exactly.
town
How is he getting separate tax bills?
because they're separate lots. They've been deeded out. They've
Well,
been
how
recorded.
is it in current use then? You can't.
It can't be.
You've hit the nail on the head. So,
Exactly.
My understanding
So
is
I,
that the current use penalty would be paid when a building permit is pulled.
That is correct. Right. And it's now $9,000, Brad. That's what I paid on my last one.
Okay.
So Brad, your intent is to continue on with the 19-unit subdivision?
Well, I just wanted to start a discussion about this or maybe other uses for the property. So just to go forward in time a little bit more, my partner and I are not partners in business anymore. He solely owns the property. I moved to Florida a few years ago, got to avoid 4 winters up here, but have recently moved back. And while I was gone, he contacted another guy and started a different type of business idea there, but it looks like it's not gonna materialize at all.
They were in to see us.
I'm sorry?
They were in to see us on a conceptual.
Okay.
That's why we've been looking for you to discuss this whole thing, because of the way it is.
Okay, right. So I had another question, you know, what's the board's thoughts on other uses for the property? Or what would happen if, say, 3 of the lots were repurposed for a different type of use, like a business use? What would that do to complicate things? Probably a lot.
Well, you have an access point off of 28, correct?
Yes.
Is that an entrance or is that strictly like an emergency access? I don't recall.
No, it's an entrance.
Entrance.
Yeah.
So is that the RC zone there or rural zone? What is it? LR?
RR.
RR.
Yep.
Yeah, residential,
Rural
rural.
residential. Well, you just have to look at the table of uses at rural residential, and what's in those uses is good to go. And especially where you have a cutoff of 28, because if you didn't have a cutoff 28, you used Pearson Road, I sense a problem there because that's strictly a residential road.
Right.
With a business going on, I sense a problem with that.
Yeah, I think what they were trying to do was get another road or curb cut from the state, but I think that kind of takes an act of Congress.
Oh, unless you bought Bear, it doesn't happen.
Right.
Money to donate.
But Bob Bear paid $300,000 for his.
Wow, okay. That would make this unviable again.
Pocket change.
I was just wondering if there might be other uses that the board or the town might entertain as being good ideas, like elderly or assisted housing, things like that. You know, I guess I'm asking for the discussion of maybe there are other uses, you know, for the property that would be, you know, maybe better than another housing subdivision.
Well, there's a distinct shortage of affordable housing for sure. And maybe, you know, or moderate price housing, doesn't have to necessarily be, you know, real cheap, but, you know, there's a hell of a market for that right now.
There's
also, there would be a real market for elderly housing. And what's unique is that is a fantastic, you could develop a fantastic vista of the bay. That would be something in people's golden era that they would love to look at.
Yeah, I don't know if
there is quite the.
But a mountain view, for sure.
Yeah, you want to see the water.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't want to feel the wind.
This is probably something that fits into our master plan effort as well. I'm thinking that if this is the property I'm thinking of, this is between Bay Hill Road and that storage facility.
Right.
That's correct.
Okay. That would be that'd be a really good spot for senior housing, given that it's also in good proximity to the senior center. And you know, in terms of zoning, we might have to go to the ZBA to get them to reconsider things, but that sounds like something that might fall into our plan.
Okay. Is there?
Russ, do you concur with that?
Oh, yeah, no, that may possibly, well, the thing is that it could be done now, I think, without much change. I mean, what you had there before is essentially what we're talking about, only it's the same use, right?
Would still be
Well,
residential.
elderly housing comes in a separate use, and it's a separate criteria for that, but, you know, as long as it fits in the RR zone.
It does, it's allowed on that.
Yeah, so you're good. Yep, you're good with that.
More density too.
Yeah, is there still a density bonus in effect? I think it's 4-to-1, or it was.
I would have to
You can
check,
have-
but I mean,
Yeah,
there's a special category.
Brad, online, you can, download the, zoning ordinance and everything, the subdivision regs, everything you need will be right online, so grab it and get your highlighter out.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. I just wanted to have a conversation about it and just kind of get the board's opinion on things, that's all.
So does the question still remain, is it a subdivision?
Well, I think we still need to consult with council on that.
Yeah, I have lots of questions for Jim on that.
Well, let's put it this way, it's deeded
Yeah, it's
to
needed.
somebody.
Yeah.
So there's no way you can take that away.
Yeah.
But-
This is a quagmire we're in.
It is, and I, you know, and I'm leaning towards what you said, Scott. I think that the town has made a mistake somewhere in this process here.
Yeah,
And suck it up.
I know exactly what plan, huh?
Yeah, I know too, yeah.
Maybe there was something put in there saying he had to have so much road put in before he could start.
Well, I'm sure he had
But the,
regular criteria that would be part of any subdivision.
Right.
You know, you have to get this stuff going. But this is very unique that these lots were
Bypassed all that.
recorded
Right.
in the registry of deeds.
Right.
Problem number one for having sample deeds, they get recorded accidentally. Think about that, Jess.
I don't think.
all right.
No, that would be great.
Big fast.
Now, when that was originally logged, didn't that get approved for a driving range and all that stuff
I think it did.
by the guy that?
There. Was it there, Brad?
Well, I don't know if
Because
it
I
got
logged-
approved, but there was a plan presented about it. Yeah, I remember that.
I don't think it was approved. There were some conditions that turned
No, it
out
wasn't
there was some water that ran right through one of the buildings. So,
Yeah, that's why the Army Corps was involved, because of the watershed.
yeah.
Because the people down on, at Birdsee's property and stuff like
Butts
that
up
down
against
below.
Birdsee's and all that.
Yes,
Me and Paul Whitehouse logged that
Yeah.
for
Birdsea has a big chunk in there.
for that, well, he had us
All
logged.
right, any other questions, for us, Brad, or?
No, I just wanted to maybe just mention that the wetlands disturbance, we did take care of that by creating an easement on a off-site piece of property that was about 11 acres over by Gilman's Pond.
Right, that's
So-
right.
So that is,
So it's substantial right there.
perpetuity.
He recreated the wetland. See, now the state just wants money for it, Brad. They don't want you to recreate it. They just pay them.
They just want to keep writing
They put a
checks.
price tag on wetlands.
Right.
Yeah, but
Board have any more questions for
Brad,
Brad,
the
or?
basic work is already done.
Yeah,
Right.
so that's a good thing to know, Jess, right there, that he created a off-site improvement for this. He's vested, on top of the deeds recorded.
Top of the deeds.
Yeah.
He's kind of seal it.
Yeah.
Right, and the covenants are recorded as well.
I think it's an easy decision, but let Jim make the
Right.
call.
Yeah.
All right, so here's the question, what about my subdivision?
That's at another, that's another.
Not tonight,
that's another-
not tonight, Roger.
Nope.
All right,
Greg,
all right.
By the way, your lawyer, Melissa, is now a judge.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
So you got good backing.
I would have.
All right.
I don't know for sure.
All right,
Thank
Brad,
you
I
all.
hope that was helpful.
It was. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks.
Those toes.
Good night.
Right.
Nice.
All right, other business, old business, update on town engineer contracts for 2021.
All right, so there really isn't much of an update on that. I had contacted administration, because with an RFP, I have to sit down with Stacy first. And we go over everything, make sure it's all worded properly, schedule a date, and find out, you know, where's it going, who's gonna get a copy of the RFP. That I tried to get taken care of before I was out. And, yeah.
Do you have it?
What?
Her whole house.
The whole house.
She had the 10 days, then 10 days.
Yeah, no, I didn't have it.
You didn't have it?
No, I quarantined.
Everybody around you had it.
Exactly. I sat at home all month, not sick. It was awful, actually. So my first day back is today, so I emailed Stacy and trying to get together with her and to get that squared away and out.
We gotta give you a little leeway this month.
Yeah.
Thank
Oh,
you.
yeah, that's not a problem.
Appreciate it.
That's about a
Yeah.
year, because you got no
Yeah.
excuses.
She didn't get it, but everybody else didn't. She had to keep quarantining.
Imagine being home 30 days with all your kids and stuff.
Shoot me now. All right.
I don't drink, but I'd start.
New business, update on the master plan committee. Bob, are you?
Okay. We, as I reported last month, we received 4 responses from our RFP. And we invited 2 of the consultant firms to come in on April 9th for interviews. The 2 firms we interviewed were SE Partners and Tara Bamford. SE Partners gave a very well-organized and crisp presentation on what they've done. Among the areas that they helped plan was Aspen, Colorado, and Waterville Valley. When I go a mile up the road into Wolfboro, when I first enter Wolfboro, there's a sign. It says First Summer Resort in America. And in summary, SE Partners would be great if we were doing a plan for Wolfboro. In that they've dealt with resort communities in the past, and I'm sure that they're very good at what they do for that kind of a community. The other consultant we interviewed, Tara Bamford, she came across as extremely well qualified for the kind of town that Alton is and what we perceive it to be in the future. She's done work with a number of, well, she's based in Vermont, just over the line, but she's done work with a number of New Hampshire towns. And we approved her contingent upon checking references. Jessica has received responses from 2 of 3 towns that she did plans for, Lisbon and Gorham. She hadn't heard back yet from Easton. Jessica, you want to summarize what the 2 towns that responded, what they said?
Yeah, so in a nutshell, I kind of couldn't get these people off the phone. They had so many good things to say about her. She's independent. She's has a sort of a lifetime background of, working with conservation commissions and planning. She's like all about planning. She's actually now been hired for Lisbon and Gorham to act as their planning board consultants because they're just volunteer boards after they had worked on their master plans. So they really liked her work product. She was very open, worked with them, really made sure that, she wasn't sort of telling them what they wanted. She was listening to what the towns wanted in their master plans. So I think that's very important, that we're not just being instructed on what we want in the plan. So she's very open and receptive to that. Was just very helpful. She could either, help us with some of the writing, we could do some of the writing, we could give it to her, she can tweak it and, things like that. But the 2 people that I talked to today had nothing but good things and highly recommended that we hire her.
Russ, you want to make a couple comments?
Yeah, just the thing that I observed is SE Group was going to take us part way and not take us all the way through the data gathering and the community outreach part of the program. It was a different approach than Tara. Tara was actually going to is going to actually take us further through all the things that we wanted to do as far as community outreach goes. And on top of that, she's substantially less expensive than.
Yeah, we can get a lot more done out of our $25,000 with Tara than we ever would with SE.
Right. So it's a.
Sounds like a no-brainer to me.
It seems like we've got somebody really good who's going to. And the other thing is she's a sole practitioner, so you're getting all her time, all her hours are dedicated to the project, not managing the work. SE Group had a manager, then had a supervisor, and then had a third person who would be doing the work. So there was a lot of overhead that we don't have to buy.
So anyway, our intention is to go ahead and hire Tara. Our next meeting is next Thursday. And at that time, we would hope to be able to introduce Tara to the whole committee and start hitting the pavement, so to speak.
Yep.
Where is her home base office?
She's East Thetford, Vermont, which is right across the Connecticut River from Lyme, New Hampshire, near Hanover.
Okay.
We saw the auction up there by the cows.
Me either.
But again, she's very familiar with rural parts of New Hampshire and also some of the attitudes that she's likely to discover.
Cool.
All right.
Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds like you found a good one.
We time will tell, but I feel real comfortable with this selection.
Great. All right. All right, moving along on other business, we have approval of minutes.
Yep, so the planning board workshop minutes of February 9th were the ones that I gave you guys last month on
Right.
like the Sunday night before the meeting, and you guys were gonna look at them because you didn't want to,
I was absent.
didn't have a chance to read them. Does that sound familiar to anybody?
Yeah, I know I read them at the time, but that was a long time ago.
That was a whole month ago now at this point.
Yeah, I think I gave you some comments on it. I know I read them.
Yeah, on that particular set, Russ, I did not receive comments from you on that one,
You did not.
but I did on a bunch of other sets.
Yes. All right, let's table that one. Maybe we all can refresh our memories.
Yeah.
I'll give you copies. And
And planning board
the
meeting.
planning board, the next set of minutes for the March 16th, we haven't been in the office.
Table that one.
Table that one.
And I feel bad because we finally got caught up and now I'm behind a month.
You're still not far behind. It only is the middle of April, so that's.
That was very frustrating.
All right, and then correspondence for the board's review discussion. So we don't need to discuss HB 111.
Yeah, it's down the toilet, right?
Right, it's been tabled.
Yeah,
Yeah, till next year. Is that what it is, Bill?
yes, table.
Yeah, tabled till next
Temporarily.
year. Yeah.
All right, and discussion on which board members will sit on the ZAC and the CIP committees.
Zach,
I'll do ZAC again as well. I
Okay.
enjoyed that.
yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Tom?
I really enjoy that one too, but it all depends on whether Bob wants me for the master plan.
I
I think I can do both, but
What's the ZAC?
Zoning Amendment Committee.
Oh, okay.
What we do is we look at the zoning ordinance. John Dever and Jess will give us input on problems they've arise. So we either correct those, we look at new things. One of the things we'll be talking about is the tiny house stuff. I don't know if in cabin colonies. I don't know if we'll have anything to put forward to the voter this year or not, but that's some of the places we're landing. And we also try to get rid of some deadwood that's in there, an old, I'll use.
Something that no longer applies or.
Yeah, well, I had a guy, the state was interested in putting 8,400 square foot liquor store in my project. Until they came to me and says, oh, there's an old rule in the books that we can't be within 300 yards of the school. Well, that's a problem. I said, oh, well.
No.
All right, so we need, I think, one more
Not
for
like
Zach.
we would've went over there when we were younger.
That's right.
So we need one more for Zach.
3?
Yeah,
Three for Zach.
I want to do the Zach if possible.
Okay, Bob, go easy on him, will ya?
That's it.
And then, CIP.
CIP.
That's Bob, he's a CIP guy.
Oh, see.
Well, we turned it over to Roger last year.
Yeah, I did a lot, I could do it again.
You did well last year. You learned a lot.
Yeah.
It worked out pretty good last year.
I think Amy wants to do it again.
Where do you go for that?
Okay, can I get I need another planning board member for CIP.
Bob, isn't he on it? Bob,
Bob, are you doing CIP?
No, he didn't.
He did.
Okay, okay.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, weak moment.
I'm writing that down in pen, Bob.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah, sometimes twice a month, and it's seasonally between, say, June to December-ish.
Well, there's a pretty tight connection between the master plan and CIP anyway, so.
Right.
Yeah, I think you would be good for that.
Do you guys have alternates for that also? Or?
No, not really, no.
No.
But if you,
Snowballs, put one of them on it.
yeah, you always can show
You learn
up,
a lot from
you
it.
know?
Right.
I mean,
You learn where the
You
money's
could,
spent.
right.
sometimes I'm not even in state on certain days, so that's why I didn't volunteer right away, but I mean.
You could if you want to sign up for the CIP.
Hasn't been in the state.
So Lee, the CIP might actually be something, you know, that when you're in town to come to and listen in, and that might be good stuff.
Put them on, because it teaches you a lot.
Right, and that would only put, well, that's right, you're the selectman's rep. So then if he's on it, then we have a planning board meeting because we have a quorum of 4.
Oh,
That would be CIP, so 1,
Right.
2, 3.
Roger and Bob.
So I'll
That would
just-
be 4.
I'll take mine off if I have to.
And we're still gonna get, zoning members, right?
Yeah, well,
On these-
Frank,
no,
I
no.
would hope would still be
No,
there.
But Zach, I have, for Zach, I have,
Oh,
Tom,
no, you gotta vote in a chair, Bob.
Tom Lee, and, yeah, he's really busy right now with stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he's good.
He's on master plan committee as well.
He's really good.
Okay, so that's Zach and CIP.
Yeah.
So is that a yay or a nay?
That, I'm gonna have to say
that's gonna have
that,
to be a nay.
okay,
I forgot about that.
just because then we
whole
would have
thing.
to post a meeting for a planning board, and then I would have to take separate minutes for that, and then bring them here to get,
She
it
doesn't want
becomes,
extra minutes.
it becomes complicated when you have a quorum.
Yeah, that's fine.
But where
I
is
can
an
trade- I
alternate?
can trade mine off.
Does that count if he's an alternate?
Yeah,
Probably.
it still does.
I can trade mine off, put another selectman on it. I mean, to me, I think he'd learn a lot, because he teaches you where all the money goes. and
I know.
Stuff, and you really learn a lot.
I mean, we still have time.
For years.
I mean, I don't mind even, if I don't have no input, if I, don't even put me on there, but just let me know and I'll
Listen,
show
I'm
up.
trying to get out of it.
Yeah, you can't.
I've got enough meetings.
So Virgil, do you have somebody that you can get to be involved in?
Yeah, I'm chair of the board, I just traded off somebody.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, Brock is the,
New selectman.
he's the selectman's alternate for the master plan committee. Just throw that out there.
So he'd be good for CIP.
It's up to you, you're the new chair.
There you go.
I don't wanna take anything away from you.
He's got budget committee. He ain't got a lot.
Gotta break him in right.
Yes.
My first year as selectman, I had 5 meetings a week. It was like, you gotta, you're the new guy.
Okay, so Virgil, if you want to get back to me and let me know if you want to change that around? And if so, then I will add you to the CIP committee pending
I just think
a
a lot of.
different selectman rep. Okay, we'll
Okay.
leave it at that. All good?
All right,
Okay.
that works.
Just a point of opinion, 2 years ago, I worked with Virgil on the CIP and that worked out well. So if he continues in that role, that would be pretty good from my point of view.
No pressure, Virgil.
I know.
All right, so next item we have is NHDOT application for driveway permit renewal.
Yep, so just letting you know that that came in for Jedry on his
That expired?
subdivision.
I didn't think DOT driveway permits expired.
I don't know, he renewed it.
Uh,
I have a renewal.
I got a permit to come off my property onto the state highway and it's still good.
Yeah.
That was from
That's-
25 years ago.
Yeah, I have one on my property that's.
Why isn't Brad Hunter dealing with that?
Yeah, well, I think he has his permit too. That's puzzling. Can you find out if those expire? Because I just don't think they do.
I don't think so either, once they get state approved.
Yeah, but does he have the permit for the subdivision?
Is he building?
Yeah, did he finish? You know what I mean?
He's
Well,
still
this is-
currently building that subdivision.
Because that's where that bridge is coming out.
Right, I know, but that's what I'm wondering, is the renewal for the entrances.
I don't know, I don't see an expiration date on here.
16 lot subdivision.
Yes, but he's putting in a new entrance there.
Well, it's been approved by the planning board.
Oh, so the reason why there's this renewal, because at one point, when Jedry
There's
had
another
sold
part
that
to that road.
to somebody else, so now it's back in his name.
Okay, yeah, Ricky Lundy and,
Yeah, so that's
there's
what,
three partners.
that's what that is.
Okay.
That's why it's a renewal,
Okay.
really an amendment.
There's
So it's
another
a-
section of that road.
Yeah,
So that's what that is.
Yeah, Tom, I'm
There's
sorry.
another section of that road where it comes out by McDuff's property.
Yeah, that's the.
I think it may be
permit.
renewing the entrance where McDuff is,
Tom, we
but
just did this.
because it's never been built yet.
Yeah,
Tom, listen for a minute. Jessica said it was in the three owners, Ricky Lundy, the other two people that did the subdivision. Jedry just got it into his name, the permit, the road act, the DOT permit. That's all that happened there.
Right, but
But they
Rick
don't
McDuff
expire.
traded him access for the property.
We know all that, absolutely.
He has that
I got it.
new road.
all right.
Next.
Next, elections of officers. So,
Where did it say that?
Right underneath number 5A, election of officers for 2021, 2022.
Oh, there it is in bold. It was in bold.
Bold
That's why I
underlined.
see it.
all right, so what order do we do these in?
Chair, vice chair, and clerk.
I'd like to propose that Drew be carried on as chair.
I motion we carry on with all officers.
I would nominate Drew again if he'd be willing to serve.
Yeah,
Well, the train's about moving through right now. I'll second Roger's motion.
Chug, 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 chug.
okay, Roger,
Aye.
Scott,
Aye,
Virgil, aye.
Drew can't vote.
Drew
Bob?
can't vote.
Bob, this is keeping all the officers the same.
Yeah,
Bob, Bob,
Aye.
Ah, there you go.
Tom says aye.
aye.
Ross,
Aye.
okay.
There you go.
There you go, Drew.
Congratulations, Drew.
Seconded that. Okay.
On that note, I'd like to adjourn the meeting. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll second that motion.
I'll second that. Yeah, okay, good. Go ahead.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Sounds unanimous to me.
Hey, Bird.